So with Forever Free, I'll show you what I have here, which is the mix. The mix is these are mainly items that are in Logic, plugins that are in Logic. There's some that are third party, like with Effect Rack, which, yeah, I think I'm using Effect Rack in here. Studio Rack, I think that's the Waves thing, so I just use that for our bass. I have Neutron in here. When it comes to VSTs and plugins, you know, if there's a plugin that's gonna mix for me or EQ for me, whatever, I'm in on it, and that's how they had sold Neutron. And Neutron's a nice VST. For some reason, it always sounds like things are kind of phasey to me. Neutron 2 was the same way. Neutron 3 is a little bit better, but it still sounds kind of phasey. Like maybe it's doing too much work at one time. So as you can see, I don't have it all across the mix, because at one point I tried to do that where I used Neutron on everything, and I didn't get results that I felt that I really should get as far as this is concerned. There are a slew of other VSTs that do AI. I just saw Focusrite has one. I think it's called Fast, and there's a couple of other ones that I believe that I have, but I haven't really quite used them. I'm looking for that silver bullet all the time with these VSTs. I'm looking for the one that's gonna do everything perfectly and make my music sound like what's in my head without me having to do as much EQing on my own, just more EQing the taste than EQing the fix. On Neutron, I have a bit of this kind of EQ here, some exciter, some compressor, etc., etc. But I'm using that on a synth solo, so that's the OB6 that I used on there. Not sure what that is. This is a solo as well. So basically, Neutron's being used in very little bits. My Bit Crusher here again. I love that thing. I have Echo Boy that I'm using. Instant Phaser, which is great. And when we go over to the auxiliaries, I'm using Effect Rack. A couple of times I have a gate I'm using. This is really, actually, the Logic Gate is one of the best gates that I've used. Like, it's really no, it's a no joke gate. I mean, it doesn't do all the automated things in the same way as something like the Cable Guy's gate does. It might not do like the drum gate stuff that can be found on other VSTs, but this is really good. I use it as a ducker, as well as when I do radio shows and stuff. I use it as a ducker, so the mic stands out. It's excellent piece of free thing there. And then this thing I use a little bit. I like being able to change the timing on one side, or change the pitch on one side of a stereo image in order to, widen that image out without having to, copy. And then, I could do that, of course, by changing the position and the arrangement in order to get the same situation. But I kind of like the idea that this will do something a little bit more than I'll really actually think of. But sometimes it just comes straight down to what the classic way of doing this is, and sometimes the classic way works the best, which is just to put an H3000 on one side and detune it or delay it. It could be a H3000. I think the the RMX does that, or DMX does that. They were using lexicons to do that back in the day. This is something else, and it's interesting. But this is the Logic version of it, where you can delay one side or both sides or whatever, and use it as an effect that will just open up the sound space. And I have an AMS right here, which is the effect, and that's just the reverb. That's just to give it some ambience to the sound. And let's hear the piece. This is Forever Free by me.